let's go to the discussion. Please, Kosho, we were at 15th topic. What did Shinran mean by Shinjin is Buddha nature?
Okay, so yes, let me go. All right, and so the answer to this question can be found in the book Simple Teachings on Emptiness and Buddha Nature. For those of you who are watching this video, or maybe you are studying along with me right now, it would be on page 186 from this book. Yes, actually, there is a whole chapter devoted to answering this question, this misinterpretation, let's say. Actually, Shinran did say that Shinjin is Buddha nature, but some people, especially modern day scholars, let's say false Jodo Shinshu teachers, they use this expression of Shinjin as Buddha nature to say that those who have Shinjin are already enlightened, which is of course an heresy and a wrong point of view. It's incorrect, right? Yeah. I mean, I will first answer the question in general terms, and then after that, I will go ahead and explain this chapter, this book, chapter 10 of the Simple Teachings on Emptiness and Buddha Nature. You can download it on the links below. Okay. So first of all, like right from the start, right from the get-go, we need to understand that we are born in the Pure Land after a physical death, and this is explained in great detail in the sutras, in the shastras, and also especially in the last 50 pages or so, I think 20 pages of the book, The True Teaching on Amida Buddha and His Pure Land by Yosho Sensei. The last chapter is dedicated only to quote many passages from the sutras, the shastras, the commentaries of Shinran, Honen, Renyo, Genshin, Nagarjuna, Vasubandhu, I mean, all of them, why they did believe, yes, Shakyamuni Buddha explained that birth in the Pure Land occurs after you die. Yes, it's not something that can be found in this samsaric body, in this samsaric existence. Okay, Shakyamuni Buddha also said it very clearly. Yes, in all the Mahayana sutras that speak of Amida Buddha, and also especially in the larger sutra, in which many times he speaks about the fact that people go to the Pure Land after they abandon this human world. Yes. And it's very important for us to understand that. Now, having said that, Shinjin, according to Jodo Shinshu, does not come from us. Yes, it comes from the Amida Buddha himself. Yes, which of course, as we spoke in previous topics of examination, has three bodies, as all Buddhas do, which is the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirvanakaya. Or according to the two-body doctrine explained by Master Tan Luan, it would be the Dharmakaya of Buddha of Dharma nature, and the Dharmanakaya of Dharmakaya of compassionate means. Yes, which comprises this last one that I mentioned, comprises the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya. Okay, so we can explain Amida Buddha according to the Trikaya, the three-body doctrine, and according to the two-body doctrine. And both of them are two ways of talking about the same reality, which is the fact that Amida Buddha emanates, due to his great wisdom and compassion, several means of saving, of helping sentient beings. In our case, is the name of Amida Buddha and the primal vow and his Pure Land. Yes, so we have the creation of the Pure Land, no, as a true enlightened realm, and the means of going to the Pure Land is through the Nembutsu of faith. Okay, that is the objective of the primal vow, through the Nembutsu of faith. And the 19th and the 20th vow, they go also through some mixed faith, some trust they have in Amida, and they combine it with some auxiliary or mixed practices, according to the 19th vow, or the Jiriki Nembutsu, according to the 20th vow, which is the Nembutsu of self-power. In the case of the primal vow, we go there through the Nembutsu of faith. And this faith, or this Shinjin, comes from Amida Buddha. And this is explained by Master Renyo and Master Shinran. Okay, I will now quote from the book. Okay, but having said that, some people misinterpret the word of Shinjin is Buddha nature as saying that those who receive Shinjin from Amida Buddha, who receive faith, are now Buddhas themselves. Yes, what is truly the case, yes, is that when you receive Shinjin, you have the certainty or the assurance of going to the Pure Land when you die, and there you attain enlightenment. Okay, but that is not to say that Shinjin is itself enlightenment. It comes from enlightenment. It comes from Amida Buddha himself, who is an enlightened being in Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya manifestation. But that is not to say that when we receive Shinjin, we receive enlightenment. No, we receive the assurance, the certainty of becoming a Buddha in the center of the Pure Land once you leave this physical body. Okay, this is very important. Now we are going to give a more detailed answer according to the quotes that Yosho Sensei provides here in this chapter. And remember, it's page 186. Okay. So we see here the first passage. This is from Hymns of the Pure Land, or the Jodo Wasan. Yes, one of the Wasans of Shinran. He says, the person who attains Shinjin and joy is thought to be equal to the Tathagatas. Great Shinjin is itself Buddha nature. Buddha nature is none other than Tathagata. Yes. This is the passage that has caused great confusion, and actually this passage is quite beautiful, and it's true, because Shinjin itself comes from Amida Buddha himself. But that is not to say that those who receive Shinjin are enlightened. Yes. Now, what is Shinjin first? Okay, and we will of course explain this once we go to the topic of the primal vow, which it's itself a huge topic, because Yosho Sensei explains each phrase of the primal vow, and in the book The Meaning of Faith and Nembutsu, it is explained in like 100 pages only for the primal vow. However, I will explain some brief summary of what is Shinjin. Yes, Shinjin is hearing the vow of the Tathagata and being free of doubt. Yes, this is explained by Shinran Shonin in one of his works. Yes, he says Shinjin, or faith in Amida Buddha, is hearing the vow, that is the primal vow of the Tathagata, Amida Buddha, and being free of doubt. Yes, that hearing that all those who say Amida Buddha's name with faith and with sincere wish to be born in his Pure Land will go there by virtue of the power of Amida Buddha himself. Okay, so we all go to the Pure Land doing the three things, yes, that are expressed in the primal vow, yes, which is to say Amida Buddha's name, yes, as an expression of gratitude and faith, to be born in his Pure Land, yeah, and to have faith in him, to trust him. If you do these three things, yes, and we say the Nembutsu in a relaxed manner, only expressing gratitude for the thing that Amida has already done for us, then you will go to the Pure Land, to the center of the Pure Land, and you will attain a Buddhahood there, an Uttara Samjak Sambodhi, yes, which is the objective of Mahayana Buddhism, the objective of all Buddhist practices, to become a Buddha yourself. Okay, so if you just trust in the primal vow, yes, and you trusted, then you receive a Shinjin from Amida Buddha. Yes, because according to Shinran, we cannot attain Shinjin by our own power. Yes, we only open the window of our minds to let the light of Amida Buddha come forth. Yes, but the fact of opening the window does not create the light. You see, this light comes from Amida Buddha himself. That is why we are bamboos, yes, and we are foolish beings in this last Dharma age, and we still can entrust ourselves and keep our faith in Amida Buddha regardless of what happens to us, which is a really big deal, yes, because our minds are really unstable. Yes, the fact that we can remain having faith throughout the trials, throughout all the difficulties in our lives, the only thing that prevents us from abandoning this path is Amida Buddha himself. Yes, okay, and that is why we are stable in our faith. That is why we can, remain undisturbed by people from other persuasions, or all the Christians we meet on the streets. Yes, I'm pretty sure that those living in Latin America and to a fair extent those living in Europe and North America know that we live surrounded by fanatics, by people who think that those who don't believe in Christ will go to hell, that those who believe in Buddhas also will go to hell, or that those who are not Catholic, or so on and so forth, or Jehovah's Witnesses, whatever. You see, the thing that actually prevents us from abandoning this path in the middle of all of these people with wrong views is Amida Buddha himself. It's not a matter of self-power. It's not a matter of you trying to convince yourself and say, oh yes, I'm going to say that in Butsu very hard, and I want to be a good Buddhist, and then this faith of mine will grow and will become stronger and stronger. No, yes. We say that in Butsu, we take the Dharma very seriously, but at the end, as the Master Renio said, we are given faith due to the great compassion of Amida Buddha. And Amida Buddha penetrates our heart with his light, and he and Amida Buddha and all Buddhas in the 10 directions, they take care of us, and they make sure that we don't abandon this path if we are truly sincere in seeking faith. Yes, but remember, we only open our heart like a window, but the sun comes forth and we do not create the sun. Okay, so we are not the creators of Shinjin. We are not the creators of the primal vow. We are not the creators of Nembutsu. Okay. As Master Honen said, yes, Master Honen also said here, in a passage quoted by Shinran, he says, through entrusting oneself, yes, what is entrusting yourself? Enter the city of Nirvana. So here Master Honen is expressly clearly saying, yeah, that we attain Nirvana in the Pure Land through entrusting ourselves, yes, which is actually the heart of the Nembutsu, okay? Because if you say the Nembutsu like any other mantra without entrusting yourself, then it's not the true Nembutsu, and this Nembutsu cannot lead to the Pure Land. It can create some connection with Amida Buddha, but it won't lead you to Sukhavati, to Amida Buddha's enlightened realm, okay? Whereas if you say the Nembutsu as an expression of faith, then the Nembutsu will naturally come forth, yes, and you will be assured of Nirvana. So the Shinjin is actually the heart of Jodo Shinshu, of the true teaching of the Pure Land way, yes. And in no other school of Pure Land thought, we see this total surrendering yourself to the light of Amida Buddha. Yes, in the Chinese schools, yes, which I was a part of, they pretty much stress your discipline with the Nienfo, with the Nembutsu. You have to be a good Buddhist and see Nembutsu as a practice of self-improvement. Yes, and yes, you entrust yourself to Amida Buddha, but at the end of the day, the Nembutsu is seen as any other Buddhist practice. Whereas in Jodo Shinshu, we see that the primal vow cannot be mixed with anything else, and we entrust ourselves to Amida Buddha, and we let Amida Buddha work in us, and you see receive his transcendental merits and transfer of merits, the also Angenso Eco, which I think we will explain in further detail in a next topic of discussion. Okay. Shinran also said, yes, and this is in notes on the inscriptions on sacred scrolls, in this work of his, he says, the vow of trusting with sincere mind is the cause of enlightenment. It refers to the true and real Shinjin, which is given by Amida Tathagata. This Shinjin is the very cause for the attainment of the supreme enlightenment. So you could compare this Shinjin like with a seed of light. It's a seed that Amida Buddha plants in you like a skilled gardener. So we are like the soil, and Amida puts the seed there. And this seed will grow into full enlightenment in the Pure Land. Okay, this is another way to say it. So we go to the Pure Land, yes, or let's call it like another analogy would be like a plane ticket. The plane ticket is put there by Amida Buddha himself, and we go to the Pure Land by the invitation of Amida himself. And this invitation is Shinjin. Yes, nobody can enter the Pure Land if they don't have some sort of affinity and trust in the Buddha. Even if this faith is imperfect, they will go to the borderland, like those practitioners of the 19th and the 20th vow. Yes, these practitioners think that they go there because they are good guys, because they are good Buddhists who trust in Amida Buddha, but actually they go because they have some sort of trust in Amida Buddha. And due to this reason, Amida Buddha lets them go there to expiate and purify those doubts in the borderland until they finally entrust themselves and they go into the center of the Pure Land. Whereas those followers of the 18th vow in Jodo Shinshu, we are encouraged to entrust ourselves according to the 18th vow, the primal vow. Yes, and if we do this, we will go straight to the center of the Pure Land and attain enlightenment there, because we already have Shinjin, and we enter the stage of non-retrogression here right now. Okay, so into Jodo Shinshu, once you receive Shinjin, you become equal to Maitreya. Yes, why is that? Is because Maitreya Bodhisattva is now in Tushita heaven, teaching the heavenly beings there the Dharma. And once he finishes there and he descends into human form in a vast distant future, he will descend and become Maitreya Buddha, or he will openly become, not become because he's already enlightened, but will openly reveal his true identity as a Buddha in human form, and he will preach the Dharma here. Okay. So in that sense, we are equal to him, because we also have the assurance of manifesting enlightenment for the sake of other beings. But the difference is that Maitreya reached this state due to his own self-power. You see, he was a very virtuous practitioner, yes, and he attained this state due to his own skill. Okay, in our case, we are only attaining enlightenment through the virtues and power of Amida Buddha. That's the difference. And the other difference is a good advantage for us is that we will manifest enlightenment quicker than him. He's already enlightened, but he's now manifesting himself as a bodhisattva in Tushita. Whereas we will go to the Pure Land, and as soon as we leave this physical body, which will be very soon, because our human life is so tiny, is so short, especially if we compare them to the life of the gods, which live millions of human years. Our lives in less than 1 century will all be gone, I think. And then we will go to the Pure Land. And
to make a short summary, the reason why Shinran said that Shinjin is Buddha nature is because through Shinjin we can discover our Buddha nature in the Pure Land. So it is because Shinjin is the path to the Buddha nature. That's why. Because through Shinjin, as Kosho well explained, we attain enlightenment. And the attainment of enlightenment is to discover our Buddha nature. So this is why Shinjin is Buddha nature, because Shinjin leads to the Buddha nature. Yes. So, and as Kosho well explained, Shinjin comes from Amida Buddha. The fact that Shinjin comes from Amida Buddha means that Shinjin is not a samsaric phenomenon. It is not an intellectual accomplishment. So Shinjin and Nembutsu also, which is the manifestation of Shinjin, and it is the name of Amida Buddha, are not samsaric phenomena. They are manifested. Shinjin is manifested in us by Amida Buddha from ultimate reality. See, because all the manifestations of Amida Buddha, including his Pure Land and his name, and even Shinjin, is rooted in ultimate reality. So this is why we can also say that Shinjin is Buddha nature, because Shinjin is not a samsaric phenomena. It is manifested in us by Amida Buddha from ultimate reality. See, and because it is rooted in ultimate reality, and because through Shinjin we discover Buddha nature in the Pure Land. That's the idea. Not as not as many modernists say that when you have Shinjin, you are enlightened. You are enlightened. Yes.
Yes, indeed, Sensei. Yes, we cannot say that. Actually, I wanted to share with you a small passage from the book in which you summarize this idea very well. You see, you say here, the jewel of Buddha nature is hidden under billions of layers of blind passions, illusions, and attachments accumulated during many lifetimes. This is why it is impossible to find it while you are still caught in this samsaric realm of existence, itself the effect of your karma and the collective karma of all unenlightened beings. However, in the Pure Land, the same jewel is in plain sight. You just stretch your arm and take it. This is how easy it is to discover your Buddha nature in the enlightened environment of Sukhavati. And remember that Amida Buddha himself promised in many of his vows that all of the manifestations, according to the 31st and the 32nd vows, the manifestations of the Pure Land are nirvanic manifestations, and actually all of the Pure Land is an expression of the Buddha nature of an enlightenment that Amida Buddha has already enjoying. So if we go there, it will be, as Joshua Sensei constantly explains, it's a very good analogy. It's like throwing an ice cube into a hot stove. It will melt away instantaneously. So when you go to the Pure Land, to the center of the Pure Land, we will discover our Buddha nature instantly in the presence of Amida Buddha and all of the enlightened bodhisattvas there. Okay, so that is why Buddha nature we will discover in the Pure Land, and of course Shinjin comes from the Buddha nature of the true reality, no? Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, which are the means of salvation that Amida Buddha possesses, and as all Buddhas do. Yes, but in this case, since we are going to Amida Buddha's Pure Land, it comes from Amida Buddha's Sambhogakaya body. Yes,
yes.
Which is of course because he made these 48 vows that are specific to Amida Buddha himself. Yes.
Yes, and the Amida Sambhogakaya Buddha is, of course, has as ultimate nature Amida as Dharmakaya. So whatever Amida as Sambhogakaya manifests in us, it is automatically, ultimately rooted in Dharmakaya. It's
yes,
because they are related.
yes.
Amida's manifestations are not samsaric manifestations. So Amida in Sambhogakaya is not a samsaric phenomenon. He is rooted in ultimate reality. So whatever Amida uses to save us is rooted in ultimate reality, including the name that we say with our lips, Shinjin, and so on. Yes, very good.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to add more, or I would
no,
like
that's
to
okay.
say
Maybe we could go to the next question.
one more thing. One more thing I would like to add, which is very important. So we have to remember that all the Dharma gates of the Buddhist teaching talk about three main aspects. One is the basis, two, the path, and three, the fruit. The basis is the hidden Buddha nature, with the fact that we have Buddha nature. That is the basis. Okay, we could not become enlightened and reach Buddha nature if Buddha nature was not already there. So by attaining enlightenment, we just discover the Buddha nature that is already there. So the basis is the fact that we already have Buddha nature. The path is, in our case, in Jodo Shinshu, is faith, Nembutsu, which is the expression of faith, and the wish to be born in the Pure Land. The primal vow is the path. Shinjin is the path. And the fruit is the discovery of our Buddha nature in the Pure Land. So again, this is why we can say that Shinjin, which is the path, is Buddha nature, because it leads us to the discovery of Buddha nature in the Pure Land. Yes, yes. If you guys want to add something, please do. If not, Kosho will go to the next topic. Joshin, do you want to say something?
Yes. One of the things that I think makes it hard for Buddhists to accept our view of the primal vow is that, especially if you come from a Christian upbringing or a monotheistic upbringing, it's about you being righteous. And in Buddhism, a lot of Buddhist schools, it's about you realizing your Buddha nature, you training yourself to realize Buddha nature. And it's like Kosho said, it's like, it is so simple. And like Kozan said, it's like a mother just receiving a mother's love. You know your mother loves you. Well, yeah, you know your mother loves you. You know your parent cares about you. You just accept it. You don't make anything happen. Shinjin is a knowing that you are loved by Amida, that you are connected by Amida, and that you will end up going in your next life to the Pure Land. And it's all Amida's doing. It's not ours. It's just realizing that.
Yes, Miyokaku, what do you want to say?
I have a simple question, just out of curiosity. In the utmost respectful way for Amidaji and all its members and Sensei and Kosho. If someone asks us in the future, what are the bases, on what sutra, on what shastra, on what official channels do we get the concept that we will be received by the Sambhogakaya form of Amida, and that will procure us this sudden enlightenment compared to the self-effort of being born either in embryonic states or have to go through all the 9 bhumis, blah, 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 so you can become a Buddha. If someone asks us, okay, give me proof, not because we're falling into their games, but because they genuinely want to know, okay, out of curiosity, can you show me what sutra tells us this specific fact that Jodo Shinshu and Amidaji speaks about us being able to achieve Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi in the blink of an eye, because it's going to happen right there at the center of Sukhavati within probably 15 human minutes as we pass away. Respectfully, Namami.
Yes, Fernando. Well, there are many passages, but if you want someone that is like dead on, like spot on there, go to the section 29 of the larger sutra. There it is explained like crystal clear. There it says that Amida Buddha, in the presence of Amida Buddha in the 7 jewel hall where he preaches the Dharma, yes, you could compare the Pure Land to a house. There is a waiting room, and there is the main room where Amida Buddha preaches the Dharma. And there you will see in the 29th section where it says that everyone that hears Amida Buddha, just upon hearing him, they attain enlightenment. And they use the word enlightenment. They don't say the word bhumi, they don't say the word, let's call it advanced bodhisattvahood. Yes, they just attain enlightenment. So just by quoting this passage, which is only like a small paragraph, yeah, you can convince everyone that has 2 eyes to see that you attain enlightenment there. But there are also many other passages that speak of the enlightened qualities of bodhisattvas there. For example, in section 27, and there is a huge explanation of I think 5 pages long of all the things that bodhisattvas in the Pure Land can do, you see. And when you read these passages, you realize that these guys are not behaving like students. They are behaving like masters. No.
Yes, there are the various vows of Amida Buddha.
Yes.
For example, there are the vows of Amida Buddha are divided by us at Amidaji in 4 groups. One are the vows about Amida Buddha in his Pure Land, which are vows 12, 13, 31, 32, vows related to the salvation of all sentient beings, 11, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 33, 35. And then we have vows explaining the characteristics, the capacities and activities of beings who attain enlightenment in the Pure Land after being born there. And then you have the vows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 38, 39, 40, 46, where you have all the explanations you need. And these are explained in the commentary on the larger sutra. Okay, so then you also have a section, wait a second, a section on the birth in the, where it is, wait a second, please. We have sections 43, 44, and 45, which explains the difference between those born in the Pure Land in the borderland of the Pure Land and those born in the center of the Pure Land. You also have that. So he has, if that person really wants to know, then he can read the commentary on the larger sutra, which contains many explanations by Shinran Shonin himself. So in that commentary, he can see the words of the Shakyamuni Buddha, but also he can see how Shinran explains the words of Shakyamuni Buddha, because this larger sutra is has many layers of interpretation and many ways to read it. But we are reading it through the eyes of Shinran and through the eyes of Primal Vow. So he can go there. Okay.
Yes, I only wanted to add, Sensei, thank you, that many of these, the other interpretations of from the Chinese Pure Land school and other schools that think that the Pure Land is a place of some training for higher bhumis, is that they don't have this clear, that they don't see the difference between an enlightened bodhisattva, yes, and an ordinary bodhisattva, yes. I think that if they read the sutras very carefully, in which they say that Avalokiteshvara is not in any bhumi, he's actually a Buddha, and also for the case of Manjushri and other enlightened bodhisattvas, if you just study the difference between an enlightened bodhisattva, that is a Buddha, or an enlightened being manifesting as a bodhisattva, then you will understand the larger sutra in a different way. This is what happened to me. Yes.
Yes, and they can understand the 22nd vow, which Shinran explains as where also the where Shinran says that is the vow explaining that we will go back to the world and help all beings. And you can also read to them and the explanation by Shinran of the 11th vow, which means that they will attain enlightenment in the Pure Land. So there are many sources. You know, all these sources are explained in and presented. The sources that I mean, words of Shakyamuni and explanation by Shinran and other masters are presented in the commentary on the larger sutra. Okay. So he has to read that. All the books actually contain that. And he can also go, for example, to a collection of passages on the meaning of birth in the Pure Land at the end of the book, The True Teaching on Amida Buddha and His Pure Land, where you will find many passages from various sources, including Shinran and other masters, where they explain that birth in the Pure Land means the attainment of enlightenment. There are many passages there from various masters. That is also important source. So when I edit this video, you can find the links in the description to those places. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good question.
Fernando Namida Butsu. Very good question. Yes.